Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Monitor. I'm Scott,
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Anthony.
and today we're going to get into Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It just released. It's already coming into some really good critical reviews. Kind of like above average user scores. We'll get into those as well. But first, Anthony, I know you got the game. I know you've been putting in some time with it. You just recently just played it like a few seconds ago before we started recording. So tell
Yeah.
me, tell me, your experience with it now, because I don't have a Switch, so I don't, I'm not playing the game currently. I can only just view videos of it and stuff. But like, tell me your experience now. You know what I'm saying, and does it reflect how the user reviews typically are going right now?
Well, I just gotta say something like about the user reviews. If they're out here hating on Tears of the Kingdom, expecting it to be completely different from Breath of the Wild, my question is why?
Yeah,
It's literally number two. Like it's almost literally Breath of the Wild 2. They just
yeah,
called it Tears of the Kingdoms
yeah.
because it comes after that. So if you expected something completely different, there's something wrong with you. This is exactly how I expected this game to be. It's good so far. I haven't beaten it, obviously. I've only got like 15 hours in, maybe 20, if that, because I've been playing since Friday, since I got it at like 10.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've literally been nonstop on it. But yeah, main storyline is typically something I don't follow immediately in the RPG. I always run off and just start doing stuff and collecting items,
Yeah.
better swords, making my character stronger, and it's playing just like Breath of the Wild. And the new features, like Ultra Hand and the Rewind and the Fusion, is very intuitive. Like you're not gonna sit there and like be confused on how to use it. Like I saw IGN was saying, I don't know why that guy was confused and like stumbling over it. It's very easy if I guess he just doesn't play video games.
Yeah.
But
I mean, a lot of editors at
yeah.
IGN don't play video games at all.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, oh, it was a bit confusing at first, but once I started playing, it seemed seamless. It took me all of 2 seconds to figure out Ultra Hand and the combining and removing and fusing and all that stuff. Like it's awesome. It doesn't make you miss the old attributes that you had with the Sheikah Slate in Breath of the Wild at all. Like
Okay.
it's a whole new twist to the game, making it feel like a breath of fresh air, but still giving you the same exact stuff that you got with Breath of the Wild, which I personally don't think so, just because I'm a diehard OG Zelda fan. So like my first Zelda was a Link to the Past and then Ocarina of Time, so those are the best Zelda games to me. But Breath of the Wild is considered literally the epitome of Zelda games, like the best Zelda game. Like if you ask people what their best favorite or the best Zelda game or their favorite Zelda game is, a lot of them will say Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And I can see a lot of people replacing that with Tears of the Kingdom because it is like I said, a breath of fresh air, like almost a better version of Breath of the Wild because they saw what we liked and what we did in Breath of the Wild and implemented that in this new world, and that's why you get the vehicles and you don't have to lock a rock and hit it 10 times, jump on it and fast travel. Like you don't have to do all this crazy stuff that people were like just doing on their own and being creative in Breath of the Wild. Thou gave you the actual tools to be as creative as possible. And this game is just awesome, and yeah, I love it so far. So
Yeah. So I was basically just about to just say that it too. Is they basically took everything that everyone liked and loved about the original, the Breath of the Wild, the first entry, and kind of brought that into the second entry and emphasized that and added to the fun, added to the different elements that made Breath of the Wild so impactful. I'm assuming, correct?
yeah, it's like on 100 times.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's great too, because it's like now my point of contention with this too, and a lot of people seem to have this same kind of sentiment, is the fact of it being $70.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah. So like even though like there's one review here, and I typically like to just read the more middling reviews, because this is where you can kind of get a more critical stance on it. You're gonna obviously have like the fans of the entry and everything like that giving it
Yeah,
tens.
fanboys are always gonna give it a 10 because
Yeah.
it's Zelda and Nintendo can do no wrong. But I mean,
Exactly. So here, Valix says that if you enjoy Breath of the Wild, this is basically that game with some tweaks to the mechanics. graphics, essentially what you were just saying earlier.
Yeah.
And an increased color saturation for some reason. Seriously, why? I mean, I guess he has an
Yeah,
issue
certain
with.
parts of the game are like too bright.
Yeah,
I've noticed that. Like if you're on top of a mountain and you just angle away from the sun, it still acts like the sun is like directly in your face. So
what
I've noticed that too.
I mean that can actually be fixed with like a quick
Oh
little
yeah,
patch though.
I'm sure it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also goes on to say this is honestly just an expansion being billed as a full-on sequel. It's an okay
No.
game, not great, not terrible, but not worth $70. How do you feel about that kind of sentiment there? Is it's like it doesn't necessarily feel like an expansion. It feels like
No.
does it feel like a full-fledged game?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's DLC. It definitely feels like its own game. I mean, he's probably just, salty about the $70,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
that's Nintendo for you. If they see other people charging more, um, on their games that suck,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Like every game we've talked about so far that comes out broken but is $70, Redfall, all that stuff.
yeah.
So if Nintendo sees people releasing these mediocre titles at $70 and they're like, this game people have been waiting for 7 years, since or six, it's like 6 or 7 years, I can't remember. Like I think 2017. I don't know the math off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But since Breath of the Wild in 2017 when it released with the Switch, they're gonna be like, well, this game is gonna get heavily bought, so we're gonna add that extra $10 because we're Nintendo. We're a small little company. We need all the money we could get because we're still developing.
A small company.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I,
Can you hear the sarcasm?
yeah, I know you definitely. Yeah. A small company. I mean, especially they're definitely not small now. Ever since the success of that Super Mario Brothers movie, I mean,
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
making over $1 billion already. So it's like, nah, that's going straight into the pockets of Universal and Nintendo. Well, especially too with the fact that Nintendo's getting a theme park at Universal Studios. They're getting Super Mario World.
They're getting their own section. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's already available or open in USJ.
Yeah,
And it looks insane. I mean,
Man,
if COVID didn't happen,
mhm.
that would have already been there. 2023 it was supposed to open.
That kind of almost makes me want to buy a Switch, so then that way I can like go there because the Switch is integrated into the theme park, so you can be able
I
to.
did not know. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you can be able to use the Switch within the theme park to kind of like you can use it to navigate, you can use it to collect stars. They have like little mini games throughout the theme park for you to be able to use your Switch with. So I mean, that's if you don't have a Switch now, that's one reason to buy one, or at least wait for Nintendo Switch 2 to release. But we'll read one more review. This is about Barrow76. He goes on to say it's a nice game, a lot of mechanics, a huge open world than the predecessor, which I know you pointed that out too, Anthony, where it was like the
It's
world
like
feels
almost doubled.
double that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's actually really good. I know that opens up the door for a lot more exploration within the game and being able to like. I'm pretty sure they have collectibles and all that stuff too because it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's an RPG. The creation engine it's terrific, but it's shameless that it is 20 to 25 FPS. A lot of popping instead, and the dock resolution that had 720. Did you have that issue too, where it's like frame drops or like is the does it run? I mean, at a solid 60 frames per second with 1080p, or is it, are you having issues with that? Or are you even running it at 1080p?
Well, I haven't honestly checked, like, my TV information. It looks fine to me, but honestly, the difference between 720 and 1080p to me is like minuscule. Like, it doesn't make a difference. Now, if we were talking 1080 to 4K, I'd be like, yo, I can definitely see the difference there.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. There is frame rate dropping, but there's almost absolutely no load time. So
Okay.
for the frames to stutter a little bit is completely fine. Because it's not like how can I describe it? Like Fallout 3. Remember in Fallout 3 where you were on one side of the map and you started going to the next one, it loaded at a certain point to load the other half of the map.
Yep.
The whole thing is completely loaded. You can seamlessly run from one end to the other end. No load screens unless you go into something like a shrine or like a house or maybe a divine beast. that's the only time you will get any type of loading screen. So the fact that all of that is being done on, let's be real, a tablet
Yeah.
is amazing. So to expect PlayStation 5 styled frames on a tablet, like it's not gonna happen. You get what you pay for. It's a Switch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's been out since 2017. Nothing new has happened
Yeah.
besides the OLED, and that's literally just a different screen on a handheld. There's no difference in the hardware besides the screen.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I mean, it's not like Pokemon. It's definitely not like Scarlet. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, if you want to be able to run it at 1080p with high resolution, you may want to get you a Asus or ROG Ally. I suppose that's going on pre-order now. I mean, you can actually play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on PC using the Yuzu emulator now, so you can be able to play it on PC via an emulator. And then I've also read too that using the Yuzu emulator, people have already modded the game to first person, and so it kind of helps with the optimization with it too as well. So I mean, yeah, that's an alternative. If you don't have a Switch, but you plan on, you want to play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you could download the Yuzu emulator, and be able to run Tears of the Kingdom on PC or on, the upcoming Asus ROG Ally, and be able to enjoy that without necessarily running on the on Nintendo's hardware. So I mean, that's also a good alternative. But I mean, it seems like overall people are enjoying the game. People love the game. It capitalized off of its predecessor, and it basically just took everything that people loved in the original game. People basically enjoyed in the original game, and just took that to 10 times and everything like that, and added into this one. So that's also good, man. It's also good to have like good games out here in this space too, especially given the fact that we're just constantly getting turd after turd after turd lately. So I mean, it's good to kind of have like a break from shit just being thrown in my face. Basically,
I do want to say one thing though, since Nintendo is literally insane. We do not support emulators.
No, we don't. We don't support emulators.
Wink,
but
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, we don't support emulators. But I am gonna say that it exists in the metaverse. It exists. All right, moving on to the next topic though. So Blizzard continues to destroy their properties, and it's just getting ridiculous at this point, man. It's like, so Blizzard details Diablo 4 seasons, battle passes, and their shop.
I didn't know it was Call of Duty.
Exactly. I didn't know neither. I didn't know that Diablo 4 was a first person hero shooter. You know what I'm saying? Where I allow corporations to just put their hand in my motherfucking pocket and just, take all of my money. I didn't know that that's how, one of the OG RPGs functioned. Which is ridiculous, but
I remember there being microtransactions and season passes in Diablo 2. That was my favorite part about it.
Yeah, I know. That was my favorite part about it too. No. My favorite part was actually taking my wallet out of my pocket and putting it in the hands of Blizzard and just saying,
pay to win. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, bro, like I don't understand how you can constantly make these decisions knowing that you've gotten backlash for this previously.
Every time.
I don't understand that they're just coming off the heels of a complete like Blizzard themselves are just coming off the heels of backlash for Overwatch. You know what I'm saying? Given the fact that their battle pass was already lacking, and then creating such a mind-numbing grind to be able to unlock things within the battle pass. That's another aspect of this. It's like, how deep is the grind going to be for Diablo 4 in this battle pass? Like, are they going to be like? I feel like they're going to be heavy-handed with the battle pass and the microtransactions, and just being like, basically backing players into a corner and forcing people to spend money, so then that way they can be able to get things that should just be in the core game itself. And given the ecosystem for Diablo, specifically Diablo 4, there's merchants in the game. There's blacksmithing so you can craft weapons, armor, things like that. There's things in the game for you to be able to either unlock these items via beating bosses and dungeon crawling, or B, be able to craft these things from raw materials that you find within the game, or C, be able to go to a merchant and purchase these things. So I don't understand the point in even trying to add a battle pass to this and a shop specifically for, let me take your money, fuck you, give me money. In the words
I can say is they're probably trying to look for a newer demographic, you know, like the people that have full-time jobs and children and all that stuff that can't necessarily grind in this game. That's always been a grinding ass game to get the loot that they need, but like it's still such a small percentage of their complete demographic, so I don't see why they're reaching for something like that. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean,
not every game needs a microtransaction. Not every game needs a season pass.
No.
Not every game needs all this shit. Like, I mean, that's why I don't play Call of Duty that much. Like, that shit's really boring and overwhelming. And like, okay, I haven't played in 3 months. Here's this dude with the new skin and new loadout, new gun, who's destroying me because the gun I was using was nerfed, and now he's on the newest battle pass and paid for everything. He's just whooping my ass, but he's not even better. He just has shit that's just better.
Exactly. And
it doesn't make sense.
And that's what I'm saying. So even if taking into the account of like people who don't have time, right? So for instance, like Ubisoft kind of coined this term of time savers. You know what I'm saying? Where like within the Assassin's Creed universe, you can be able to like purchase these time savers, and it kind of jump starts you into the story and being able to get all of these different items, because they created a situation to where you have to do this. It's something that didn't need to be implemented, but they created this bloated ass game and then sold you the solution. So they created the problem and then sold you the solution. And this shit gets tiring. It gets exhausting being able to constantly have to deal with this. Every game, like you're right, every game doesn't need a battle pass. Every game doesn't need a shop. Some games just need expansions. Some games just need a season pass to where you can just like, you can purchase the season pass and then you can get additional content as the season pass releases. Yeah. And it's like,
but that's what Diablo always was. You get an expansion, just like Warcraft. You get an expansion. Like, I don't know what they're doing here.
Yeah. So I mean, they go on. Here's a little bit of details. So in the this includes everything within this third tier of the battle pass, but you get a premium battle pass, which includes 20 tier skips and a special cosmetic. I don't understand why you're taking the same microtransaction model from that's implemented within Call of Duty and Overwatch and applying this into a game where these things are literally not useful at all to the meta of the game. The core of Diablo is a dungeon crawler. It's a dungeon crawler RPG. The main focus of it is to be able to go from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon, looting, defeating bosses, and getting a reward or a chest or something like that after you've accomplished that objective. That's the entire point. So why do I need to be able to purchase a battle pass, get 20 tier skips, and get a special cosmetic when that special cosmetic can be behind a difficult boss? That special cosmetic can be behind a challenge in a game. So then that way, like, you know, it could be any damn thing. It could be a community driven raid. It could be a raid that requires you to be able to, you know, have to band together with a squad of like 4 or 6 people and go in and have to work together to be able to, defeat the boss and get that special cosmetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is pointless. So they go on to kind of like confirm too about the pricing. So Blizzard confirmed U.S. pricing for the battle passes. Premium costs 1,000 platinum, $10, and accelerated costs 28 platinum, $25. Now I know people, when the game releases, we're going to be able to see the shop and how much things are going to cost, because that's the real perspective that will be given on this game when you're able to see the shop, because 10 like a
Now,
thousand.
is that a month though? I'm thinking, is that a month or is that just one cost? And every time you want to do it again, it's just $10 to $25 per time.
No, it's per
Or
time.
it can only be one and done.
No, it's kind of it's well, as far as purchasing things out of, I'm pretty sure this currency is for purchasing things out of the shop. So
Okay.
so it's
So basically, I could do this multiple times. I could spend like $500 on a game, and my character can be completely maxed out, and I
Yep.
wouldn't even have to do one dungeon.
Nope, exactly. You can be able to kind of like essentially Call of Duty. You pay for 1,500 COD points, and now you can buy a whole pack that has custom like guns that shoot out electricity bullets and all this other shit. Like that's essentially
cool
this, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in a game where the whole entire purpose is to be able to find these things. That's the reward. You're literally taking the reward of playing this game away from people, essentially. And
These games used to be able to do 300 hours in and
yes,
still not have everything and still like being excited to go to another dungeon and loot. Now you just got to pay for it.
yeah. Now
Not even Diablo anymore.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. So, Blizzard basically came out and they want to kind of justify this shop, and their justification for it sounds ridiculous, but they ultimately just come out to say that the shop is intended to be an avenue of self-expression for our players, and they can interact with as much or as little as they desire their time in Sanctuary. That sounds like corporate talk if I've ever heard it before.
Pure BS.
Yes, you trying to justify this entire fuckery with self-expression. People can self-express themselves. People can express themselves by actually putting in the time and work to be able to, go into dungeons and unlocking these things. Actually, this actually kind of combats that notion of making a defense for people who don't have time. If you want to get these high level weapons, armor, things like that, participate in a community raid.
Yeah, you don't have to be like level 100.
No,
you could be playing with people that that are that high and help you and like basically hold your hand through the raid, but you still get to partake in the loot.
Exactly. You can partake in this. You may not be able to use it at that time, but you'll have it, and then when you get to that level, you'll be able to use it. So that's my thing. Is like it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's asinine, and it doesn't make any sense. And that's just my last thoughts on it. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, no, it's Blizzard is stupid as hell. Yeah, this is not Diablo, and no. I'm so glad I stopped playing Diablo after Diablo 2. I didn't really much have time for 3, but if I did and was looking forward to 4, I'd be pissed off.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad I'm not looking forward to this game, because even if I was, I would be so fucking mad right now.
Exactly. All right, so moving on, we have some news about Mortal Kombat. Apparently, Mortal Kombat 12 will be something of a reboot, I guess. Mortal Kombat, it's supposed to be named Mortal Kombat 1. Now this can be interpreted different ways. This can be either a full reboot of the franchise and going back to the original Mortal Kombat, or as some people may have pointed out, that it could be a reset for the storyline focus starting at Mortal Kombat 11. So if anybody played Mortal Kombat 11, you know that during that game they played around with time travel and bringing back bringing back characters from different times or different eras throughout the Mortal Kombat universe. So I mean, this is exciting news. I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I love Mortal Kombat. I've played the majority of the Mortal Kombat games, all good and bad Mortal Kombat games. And so I'm excited for this. I guess apparently by Bill Coon, I'm assuming his how you pronounce his name, on Twitter, came out and kind of broke this news out, saying that if this information is to be valid, and just take it with a grain of salt, because they haven't completely come out and just confirmed it yet at this point in the recording, but PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and possibly and Nintendo Switch possibly, all gonna be $70 on the main on PS5 and Xbox, and $60 on the Switch. Premium
Collectors for $250. Wow.
Yeah, collector's edition $250. I'm pretty sure that may come with like a figurine or some sort of statue or something like that, or a chest or whatever. They typically do that in those collector's versions. I'm pretty sure they did that in Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 10's collector's edition as well. But yeah, so the pricing has been I guess kind of confirmed, not necessarily take it with a grain of salt. But also the date is I guess rumored to be September 2023. So and this is also kind of correlating with Marvel Spider-Man 2, which would be September 2023. So this is going to be, if both of these are going to be two juggernauts dropping in September. So that's some money for fans of both franchises, because I'm pretty sure Marvel Spider-Man 2 is probably, they're going to have a collector's edition that's like $300. So
well, I know where my money's going.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm excited for Mortal Kombat. I don't know if I had to choose. I guess I would personally just want them to reboot the entire franchise. I would want them to start from scratch, essentially. So then that way we can kind of get, and if they started from scratch, I would want them to start from scratch and be in that era that Mortal Kombat 1 was in, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of bringing back that OG nostalgia, but putting a new frame on it, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
All I know is if I don't hear whoopsie,
exactly,
Mortal Kombat 12, I'll be very upset if they bring it back without that.
Exactly. That's what I want to hear. Like I want them to be able to bring back that old nostalgic feel, but put like new graphics on it. You know what I'm saying? Like put Unreal Engine 5 graphics on it, and make it.
Let's not have a super tanky character. Like every character doesn't need to be a tank.
Exactly.
Let's have that.
Yeah, like
that's what stopped me from playing Mortal Kombat as of recent.
Yeah, they do have a hard time with like not necessarily balancing characters to each other, but more so or less like,
the movement. It's the movement of them. They're so slow.
Yeah, like I remember in Mortal Kombat, I want to say 10, Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 9, like even in 10, like one of my favorite characters and it's just because of the balancing and how he played, was Noob Saibot. Like Noob Saibot's movement, speed, it felt balanced compared to like most other characters because of course, Noob Saibot is the original Sub-Zero that died and got resurrected. But his combat style was like, it fit that character. Like it was still kind of Sub-Zero-ish with the more focused towards speed and quick combat. Because of the teleportation that he had, he could, fall through floors, come through the ceiling, different kind of stuff like that. Versus like, in Mortal Kombat 11, like I felt like I even felt like playing as Liu Kang was slow, and Liu Kang is not supposed to be designed as a slow character. Like Liu Kang is a speed character.
He's literally Bruce Lee.
Yeah, like
when have you ever seen Bruce Lee fight slow as hell? Exactly.
Like Liu Kang is a speed character, and when playing as Liu Kang, I almost feel like Kung Lao was faster than Liu Kang. Even though Kung Lao is a monk, he has that he has the kung fu trait to him, but martial arts style.
He's not the drunken monk, is he?
No. Kung Lao is the monk. He has the serrated blade hat.
Okay.
He has that, so it's like but like he played faster for some reason. And granted, it could be the fact that he can also teleport. He can use his hat to kind of teleport from one location to the next, which increases momentum when it comes to delivering combos and fighting and different things like that. So I mean, that could also play a factor into it for me, but I just feel like Liu Kang is a faster fighter as far as combo to combo. Liu Kang's combos are meant to be basic, so that way you can be able to chain them easier. You can do a
string of combos.
Yeah, so you can do a string of combos and chain it easier, which in turn makes his combat faster. But it felt slower. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, But yeah, I'm excited for this though. I'm always excited for Mortal Kombat. Every time Mortal Kombat comes out, it's always a spectacle. So I mean, I'm excited for this. I hope they go to the just rebooting the entire franchise versus like starting off from the reboot. Because if they start off from Mortal Kombat 11, then that means Liu Kang is the new god and Raiden is dead. Because in Mortal Kombat 11, I'm pretty sure Raiden died and Liu Kang became the new god. So it's like, I mean, that could be like a more a more interesting storyline, I guess, because it then gives them the floor to be able to create new characters and stuff like that and be able to have new characters. But for me, it's just like, I don't know, like I'm more privy to like that old school style of Mortal Kombat. And granted, they could start from Mortal Kombat 11 and then just allow new characters to be introduced and still give it that old school feel, as if it's Mortal Kombat 1. But I don't know why you would call it Mortal Kombat 1 and then just continue the storyline from Mortal Kombat 11. It'd essentially be Mortal Kombat 12 at that point. So I don't know. I'm excited for it though. Do you have any other takes on this before we move on, Anthony?
I just hope they don't make the explanation of all these characters coming back the Infinity War explanation. Like, I'm just so sick and tired of that.
That's kind of what happens when you play with timelines.
I know, but like, dude, why is it such a trend? Like, why is everyone, oh, we gotta go back in time and like go into this parallel universe and all this? Like,
yeah,
can we have something original? Yeah, please.
It's
just
been
like what, 5, 6, 7 years of this shit now.
Yeah. And it's really just a cop out. Like it also lessens the impact of when one of your characters that you like dies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
because you can just bring them back in a timeline. Yeah.
That's like Dragon Ball Z. Goku's dead. Oh, don't worry about it. We got the Dragon Balls.
Yeah. So I mean, like, but all right. Moving on, we have some information about Battlefield. And Andrew Wilson. You know, Robot Wilson. Android Wilson, that's his nickname, Android Wilson, coming out basically saying that Battlefield will come back in an entirely new way. And I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
I don't think anybody does.
I don't care. Like, you've already shown me what you care about as far as multiplayer games go. You've already shown me that Battlefield is something that y'all can just play around with. You can just move pieces here and just do whatever you want to do with Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? And don't care about the repercussions or anything else behind it. So much so to the point to where you've done it consecutively through multiple titles. And then even at one point told gamers to not even buy the game if you don't like it.
Yeah, so I was just about to say, you remember, hey, you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah. So my thing is
that's how you make sales right there.
Yeah. So my thing is like, why should anybody care? I don't even know why Battlefield fans should give a damn. Why should Battlefield fans care about what, you know, EA does with Battlefield when they have no good intentions of making Battlefield just as great as Battlefield 4? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Battlefield, they don't care.
Battlefield 4 is touted as the powerhouse of the Battlefield franchise. So my thing is like, if you're not going to you know, basically do what Zelda did, take some of the best things from the better version of Battlefield and emphasize that in a new Battlefield, like, and add a few tweaks here and there to make it, you know, slightly different. What's the purpose in doing it then? Like, I don't understand how when you come out and you say you're gonna do your Battlefield's coming back in an entirely new way, you already did that. You just did that with Battlefield 2042, and that shit didn't go right.
Flop.
Yeah, you just did it. You just did that. You did it with Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 came in a completely different way. It was a hero shooter. You pick a hero. That hero has skills tailored to that specific hero versus classes. Battlefield has always been a class focused game, not a hero focused game.
Yeah, it sounds like Overwatch to me.
That's what it is. Want to know what it goes back to, Anthony? What does it go back to, Anthony?
Trend chasing.
That's what I'm talking about. Goddamn trend chasing. I don't understand this. I don't understand how you think. It's the definition of insanity. I'm going to keep doing the same shit expecting a different result.
Different outcome. Yep.
Like, no, that doesn't work for every franchise. Each you have to understand your audience. That's the problem. They don't understand their audience at all. You know. So I mean, like Games Radar kind of, and I'll summarize this. But Games Radar kind of goes over like the implications and everything that Battlefield 24 had to face, especially too. I think also some of the devs at DICE were getting harassed. They came out with a statement about, you know, the devs being harassed, which I don't condone harassment on devs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I also understand that, you know, the internet is a platform for people to voice their opinions on as well, you know? So it's like
they're claiming that the developers are being harassed by other employees or by people on the internet?
By the community. The community is harassing the devs.
I wonder why. They've been giving them shit every release.
Exactly. And that's
why else would you be harassed?
Exactly. So I mean, like they came out to say, and I have a statement here. They came out to say, recently we have witnessed increased harassment towards members of our development team across all of our Battlefield studios. We are open to constructive feedback and criticism about our games, but to maintain a healthy and open dialogue with our community, we will protect our teams and people from toxicity and harassment. We believe this is no place inside of our game or within the Battlefield community. We want to remind our players that through our EA user agreement and Battlefield community guidelines, we will take appropriate action to uphold these values. As a community, we play the objective together. No, we don't play the objective together, because the objective of Battlefield 2042 was to make it a good game. And you didn't do that. So
not an Overwatch clone.
Exactly. So you can't sit back and expect people to not voice their opinions and discernment with a product that you tried to charge people $120 for, and then failed to A, provide a good product, B, the product launched buggy, broken, like damn near unplayable almost.
The EA standard.
Yeah, and then and then on top of that, you completely erased what Battlefield is supposed to be about, which is classes and more of a serious style of first person shooter combat. You got characters in there talking as if it's like, you know what I'm saying, or like Overwatch saying, "Oh, good old job next time, buddy boy." Like, what the fuck? Like, no. Like, no, that's not Battlefield, bro. Like, there is no thumbs up. Everything looks clean. They ain't got they don't have any like dirt on their faces, anything like that. You know, you got on top of that, it was coming with visual glitches and bugs, things like that. So it's just like, no, you lost your fan base when you decided to continuously make mistake after mistake after mistake and ignore your community. And then the only time you recognize them is when they're harassing you. Yeah, is when they harass your development team. Don't sit back and try to take the high road when people start criticizing you for shit that you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't
like when we were growing up, it was always, oh, what are you gonna get, Call of Duty or Battlefield? And everyone was like, "Oh, I don't like Battlefield. It's too realistic." But that's what made that game great.
Exactly.
Now they're literally not even following their standard and formula to what made their games great.
No.
Like, I remember when Battlefield was like, the entire environment is completely destructible. That was awesome. I don't want to play Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch, so why would I want to get 2042 and play Overwatch?
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't make sense. And then you're harassed when you give us shit and we're like, "Hey, we didn't like that." That's not harassment. That's letting you know, like, you're on the wrong track. Get back in your lane.
Exactly.
Like,
it's ridiculous, man. So I mean, like, but Andrew Wilson came out and basically said during a Q&A session with investors. So I'm assuming this was an investor call. He specifically said that we don't have any date announcements. But they have extraordinary confidence in that team and extraordinary confidence in the process and the progress they're making against the future of that franchise. I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence in the progress of this franchise and Andrew Wilson. You know, and you're talking to one of your investors, because like I do have stock in EA. And so yeah, like I don't have confidence in Battlefield, even though like EA stock is doing okay. It's not doing as good, but I think it's doing okay since Star Wars is just released. But yeah, no, Battlefield, to me, Battlefield is like almost like virtually dead to me right now. Like
It's been dead for a while for me.
yeah, like I haven't played Battlefield since Battlefield. I played Battlefield 1. And Battlefield 1 wasn't even really a good game neither. But like Battlefield
What was
5,
the one that released before 1? Because I think that's the last one I played.
I think that was Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4
Yeah.
released, or no. Was it Battlefield? I think it was Battlefield. It was just Battlefield 4 or Battlefield. It was more like the cops and robbers.
No, I didn't play that one. I didn't play that one. It was
Okay.
4.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
I
like
remember that one.
yeah, so like Battlefield Hardline. That's the one with just like
Yeah.
cops and robbers.
Yeah, where you're doing heists and shit like that.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, like Battlefield 1 was the last one that I played. I didn't play Battlefield 5 because I didn't play Battlefield 5 because I think Call of Duty came out with World War II, and I'm like, I'd rather play Call of Duty World War II versus Battlefield. And I was yeah, no, Battlefield 5 was World War II. Battlefield 1 was World War 1.
What are they doing with their titles, bro?
Yeah, that was the other thing.
They're like as bad as Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Xbox 360, One, Series X. Like, bro, make up your fucking mind. Follow a scheme.
Exactly.
Battlefield 4, now Battlefield 1, now Battlefield 5. Bro,
Yep.
I didn't even know it was that bad. That's how little attention they were getting from me. But
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
You just confused the shit out of me, and that like
Yeah.
like what?
Yep. It went from
1 came out right before 5.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep, it went Battlefield 4, then Battlefield 1, which was World War 1, and then Battlefield 5, which was World War 2. And I'm pretty sure
Why would they
Battlefield
call it 2 if it's World War 2? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
they could have literally called it anything else but a number. They could have
Yeah.
they could have called it something specific. They didn't have to be a number, but that just goes to show you like how unoriginal they were, the game was, because at the time World War II for Call of Duty came out right before that. So I'm like, I don't want to buy another World War II game. And Call of Duty is a bigger franchise, as far as like, a competitor goes. So
One of the biggest, I heard.
yeah. So I mean, right behind Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
So yes, it's like I don't have any like, excitement for this. I don't understand why you would come out and say back in an entirely new way when you just did that, and that was Battlefield 2042. That was the entirely new way that you're speaking of, and it didn't work. So why are you continuously trying to? No, what you need to come out and say is that we're bringing old Battlefield back. We're bringing old Battlefield back, and we're honoring what fans want, and we're gonna make up for 2042's lack of just lack of enjoyment in general and lack of entertainment.
Yeah, make Battlefield great again.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes, make Battlefield great again. Put that shit on a t-shirt.
Put it on a red hat.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so we're gonna move on, and so the last thing we got to talk about today, and I'll just mention this briefly, but Sony struck an exclusivity deal with Konami to bring Metal Gear Solid 3, Silent Hill, and possibly Castlevania to the PlayStation platform. How do you feel in general about like exclusives, though? Like me personally, like I like exclusives because it's supposed to create a kind of competition between PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. But how do you feel personally about just this news in general?
Well, all I have to say is ever since they did my boy Kojima wrong, it's been fuck Konami. But they were one of my favorite production companies as far as video games go and publishers because of the Metal Gear series. And it's cool to at least get some revamped Silent Hills, because those games, like, I don't know if you look at the secondhand market of like Silent Hill 1 and 2 and 3, those games are astronomically expensive for how old they are. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, also,
but it is cool that they're coming back and doing that, but still Konami Yeah, not my favorite developer at this time.
Nah, Konami is like Konami's confusing me really bad because before once Kojima left Konami, now they're just like, no, we're getting out of the gaming industry and we're just gonna focus on like other things and like gotcha games and all this other crap that nobody cares about. But
Yeah, and then they probably saw the business growth outlook portfolio for that, and we're like, oh shit, we got to go back.
exactly. And so now one thing I do want to point out though is that there is a Silent Hill reboot coming out. Like so Konami had like I don't know if they had their own conference or they joined the Xbox. I think they had their own conference, but they announced a whole slew of like Silent Hill games. And Silent Hill, they have a mainline Silent Hill game being rebooted coming back out. As well as they also have like a couple more spin-off games. I think they had like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I think one of them was like a mobile game too. But like they have a couple more spin-off games of Silent Hill. I think one game was, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but fact check me in the comments if I am wrong. One of the games was supposed to be kind of like a Dead by Daylight style, where it was like a 5v1 kind of Dead by Daylight, cat and mouse kind of game, multiplayer game. So yeah, they are rebooting Silent Hill. But I thought this was pretty good news. Because there is a rumor about Metal Gear Solid 3 being remade. And
It's gonna be terrible.
Well, it kind of just sounds like they're going down the Capcom route, where
Yeah, but if you're not with the original creator of the game, you're just gonna dog shit it. Like it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, and
'Cause they have complete creative control, so they're gonna want to put their own twist onto it and probably loosely make it like the story and not make it better, but make it worse.
yeah.
And
Now, I will say this. Konami, since striking this deal with PlayStation, right? Kojima seems pretty buddy with PlayStation, given the fact that his previous game was a PlayStation exclusive.
you mean his previous UPS simulator?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, a walking simulator. I have that game still, and I have not been. I can't force myself to play that game. Like, it's legit boring as hell. Like, I can't. I try.
You don't want to play a FedEx
No,
or a FedEx delivery guy in like a dystopian world?
hell no.
I thought that would sell so many
no.
games.
And I like Norman Reedus. Like, he's great in the game. Like, like there's good actors and actresses in that game that make the story like the part of the story that I like got to was really good. But it's like I have to just walk the entire damn time, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. It makes me not even want to get to the story within the game, even though I know the story is good. The story is good, but I don't even want to get to the story because I have to go through the trials and tribulations of just walking through a mountainous area and destroying my boots and then switching boots every 5 minutes. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, I don't want to do that. But
What a stupid mechanic! Oh my god,
it's ridiculous, bro. Like
I hated it so much.
they got degradation and damn near every bit of Norman Reedus's clothing. But like I thought this was pretty good news though, man, because I'm thinking like there is a reboot coming to Metal Gear Solid. Them striking this exclusivity deal with Sony could possibly kind of bridge the gap that Kojima and Konami had previously. Maybe they could play together a little. Maybe they could play nicely in the sandbox. And
you know what I think would be awesome?
What?
If Sony's like, all right, this dude right here, Kojima,
Yeah.
he is the lead on everything we do with Sony's side. So you guys answer to him.
Yeah.
That would be such a like spit in the face to Konami, which they really need.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I was so hyped for his version of Silent Hill.
Yes, me too.
Like, PT was the best demo experience I've had in years.
Yeah.
And they fucked that up. And then when they did this whole Metal Gear Solid Online shit, they fucked that up.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they ruined Metal Gear Solid 5, period, by making it not even have like a legitimate ending.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
not even
shit.
not even that. Not even that. They went so far as to create another Metal Gear Solid without Big Boss or Snake in it at all, and turn it into like a zombie like base building game.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah.
no, they not only did they kill Metal Gear Solid, but they also dug the grave up and then spit on it and then put dirt back on top of it. That's essentially what they did to the franchise. So I mean, like,
See, and now you see why I fear for this Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
yeah, I can see both sides of it. I mean, well, as far as the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, I can see the fear in having that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that they can, develop something good with it. But as far as Silent Hill go, they are rebooting the entire Silent Hill by a team named Bloober, which they already kind of made like a game that was similar to Silent Hill. I can't remember the game, but it was more so less like a psychological horror, which we all know like psychological horrors aren't that scary, but we can only hope if they make Silent Hill just as scary as the original game. So I'm hoping that things are going to be, something great is going to come out of this deal, other than just titles being exclusive to a platform. You know what I'm saying? So, but do you have any other thoughts on this or anything like that?
No. Well, actually, yeah. I hope Silent Hill is good.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how they could fuck that up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, they're gonna ruin it. It's gonna suck.
Yeah. Jeez. Harsh words coming from Anthony.
Yeah, one of the biggest Metal Gear fans that I know.
Exactly.
And they're gonna fuck it up.
Exactly.
I guarantee it.
Jesus. All right, guys. Well, that's it for everything, man. Make sure you guys, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and what else do they need to do, Anthony?
Turn on that bell, man. Turn it on.
Turn that bell on so you never miss a notification. Thank you guys today, and take it easy.